Welcome to the Scene Snobs Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to the Scene Snobs Podcast. I'm your host, Mick Manhattan from the Scene Snobs. Thank you so much for checking us out, hanging out with us, whether you're watching now live or you're listening later or watching on YouTube. Thank you. You guys are all awesome, and I truly appreciate you. This is the show where we get absurdly entertaining about crazy things, mostly predominantly within the movie range, television, geek world, the whole nine yards. And I bring on a lot of fun guest co-hosts to jump in with me. And it's been a great time so far. I've had a great time talking to everyone. But tonight, I have a friend here. I'm super excited to have him on the show, and I'm going to bring him right in. And I think you should check out his stuff. He hosts the Three Geeks Podcast and Matt Talk. Probably the only Matlock podcast, and should be. You know, I've ever since he told me that premise when we first met, I loved it. But Three Geeks Podcast is going, oh man, I think it's either 7 or 9 years. I may be wrong on this. I'm sorry. He will correct me in just a moment. But I love the fact that they're killing it. It's a great show. They talk geek. They go to conventions. They do the whole nine yards. It's a fantastic place to go and check out. Fantastic show to go and check out. And the links are down below. So go do it. So without further ado, let me bring on my buddy, Jason Taylor. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? It's 9 years we've been podcasting. We've been good for 3.
Okay. So yeah, so I knew it was 7 or 9, and you'll have to excuse me because like it seems like everyone I know that's like longer than COVID podcasting, as I like to call it, is like right now seems to be at like an odd number.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like it's all throwing me off. I think Sturdy's at like 5 years. I think you're at 9. So like it's just all throwing me off. And yeah, I love it. I love that you guys are still doing it. And I did make tonight's, so I try to make everybody, when I have a guest co-host, the title, my own, like personal, like message or something or joke to them in some way. Maybe it's a pun on their name or their podcast name. For you, it's a bit of a, it's a little bit of, a couple of years ago how I used to do it, but you guys are the Three Geeks. But at one time or another, there was many geeks.
We really are down to 3 now. It's Justin, myself, and Mike, more so than Max. Max has had a lot of personal stuff happening this year, so he's more so like a guest star. He pops in maybe once a month or so. But yeah, it's been a very different dynamic. Justin is a little bit younger than the rest of us, so he's a lot more energized. He just got a new job, so it's kind of slowed down our production as far as shorts go. But it's been a fun year. Like we got a lot of fun stuff coming up.
I have no doubt about it. You guys are always killing it and doing really good stuff. You're going to be at Monroe PopCon soon, right?
Yeah, and we're going to be giving away digital copies of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Can't wait.
Oh, no, really? At the con or on your show?
Both. Just got the email today that they want us to do a promotion, so we're going to be promoting that, and it's a great giveaway for the con. And
absolutely,
they just told us today that the costume contest sign up will be at our booth, so traffic's going to be unbelievable.
That's fantastic, man. I'm so excited for that. I wish I could be there to see you guys in action, of course, and I have to make my way up there to see you guys for sure, especially with all my Michigan friends. My Ohio, Michigan friends, bring them all together. So when you go to a con like this, you're prepping for it. That's awesome. First of all, can I win? How do we win?
It'll be tied to either social media or sharing a link or something.
That's right, everybody. So make sure you head over to Three Geeks Podcast. Follow them everywhere and follow Three Geeks at Three Geeks J everywhere as well. That's Jay's personal. And you can go and find out when these giveaways are happening because it's going to be amazing. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
that's
be fun.
You just did it for Rise of the Beasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new Transformers movie. Yeah, and I got to tell you, it was a lot of fun. Like I like that movie a lot. So that was a good time for me. And when I saw you doing the giveaway, it was a very cool tie-in because you guys, like when I say geek people, I mean it. Like we cover a lot of things geek here, but we don't run the gamut, like we touch down on video games. I try to play as much as I can. We're going to have more coming, but I try to touch down on tabletop games where I like playing them. We don't talk about them as much. You guys like really talk about everything.
We do. Dude, you might want to get into Magic the Gathering soon. They just announced they're doing a Doctor Who set.
Actually, that is pretty cool. I wouldn't mind collecting that, to tell you the truth. That would be pretty awesome. But you want to hear something funny? I was just talking about I was talking to Dan Mastershake the other day about Magic the Gathering. And did you know that I am the only, well, I don't know if you have to renew every year or not, so I should probably check. It's been like 25 years. I'm the only ranked national player to have never lost a game.
Really?
Yeah, because I've only played one and I won and I never played again.
Nice.
I never had, my buddy he played and he put the deck together, and then he worked at the game room and all this stuff, and he was like, play me. I want to play against this deck and see how I do. He would always be practicing. And I played and I won, and it just drove him crazy. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it's awesome. But yeah, we cover all of it.
Tell us more about your show, though. I'm talking too much. I want to hear from you. And before we get into our topics, tell us more about your show. When is it? Where can we find it? And maybe some of the stuff that you talk about.
We are live every Saturday at 7 o'clock. Right now, we are diving into food, the weird. Might get a little political. We haven't fully decided, but we're getting crazy because the writer strike's going on and the acting strike is going on. We support those guys. We had Joshua Schubart on last week, who really broke down what the strike meant. And, we discussed for a minute about how Suits, Mick's favorite show, is the #1 streaming show in the world right now, and nobody's gotten paid for the streaming rights. And that is crazy to me. That is crazy. Mm-hmm. So we really got down into the dirt with him about the strike and everything. And then we talked movies, and then it was a really fun debate about The Godfather 3's quality between Dan and Joshua. So check out last week's episode. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, Saturdays at 7 p.m. We talk about everything.
You really do. You really do. You cover it all. And it's funny that you mentioned Suits, to kind of get into that before we get into our topics. And you're right. The fact that they don't get paid for that. And you knew it was coming, because they even knew it was coming, because before the last writer's strike, they kind of saw the writing on the wall. Netflix was gearing up to release its streaming. Nothing like that had ever really been thought about or heard of before. You could rent movies on PlayStation or other things like that. So there were digital libraries available. I think Vudu was a big one at first, but it was Netflix that really pushed, this is the subscription. This is what it is. We have these movies, as we know. And I feel like the writers knew. The writers were like, we're not going to get paid for those, because if they don't have to pay us, they're not going to. It's not in our contract. They're not going to do it. That's for sure. Nobody's going to just be like, all right, here you go. So, yeah. And for years, that's been occurring. Now the contract's up. And I think that's what a lot of people need to take away from this, is that now that their contract's up, that's why they're striking. A lot of people think oh, they just left work. No, the contract's up. They couldn't come to an agreement. So they're striking until they can get the agreement. And I know you know that. But yeah, some people may not, and people who are bitching the most, the loudest, usually don't.
Oh, and Joshua really breaks down what AI writing scripts mean too. And it's great, because I had no idea. It's more like plagiarism, on a scale, than it is actual AI, because they're looking at all of these unpublished scripts and they're pulling from them to produce their scripts. So yeah, he really breaks it down very, very well for the people that fully don't understand, because I for sure didn't understand everything.
It's a great point, man. And it's funny that you mention that, because and you guys should go check out Three Geeks Podcast, because it's a great show, and Joshua does really get into it. And I do love that whole conversation you guys really did get into. And I'm very happy he's going to be coming back on our show. We're going to be talking to him too. Hopefully the strike will be over by that point. But you guys really got into it, and I really appreciate that you guys are willing to learn from it. There's a lot of people talking. There's not a lot of people listening, and you guys were willing to do that. And that's what I love about your show. You guys do listen.
Well, dude, we were ready. Everybody, we have our own chat, and we're all like, we're canceling all of our streaming services. And then we saw somebody post online, don't cancel your streaming services, because all you're doing is proving that it's unreliable, which is what the studios are trying to say. So we're like, never mind, sign up for more streaming services. We just want to make sure we're doing right by everybody that's involved in the strike and everything.
I think anything in life, the best way to do it is to is really comes down to just get what you want. If you get what you want, the numbers will be correct because that is what you are a consumer at that point. It's not over support or anything like that. And then the numbers will be there and they'll be able to tell. That's the biggest thing when it's not, when they're able to hide the numbers. First of all, that's a big problem, so they don't have to tell anybody how well like Secret Invasion did. We know it didn't, but like, so stuff like that, like they're able to hide it, and it really, it screws with like the negotiation process, and it becomes a real problem. Like it's a mafia type, some mafia type BS. And I understand wanting to save a buck. I understand, the CEOs wanting to make their money, but man, you're doing it the wrong way. But I'm of the personal belief, like this ain't gonna stop. An AI writing a script is not a bad thing, in my opinion. AI writing a script, like AI writes most of our scripts, for the templates for going through, for most of our videos. And then we go in. So like Discovering Horror is a new one. I put it through AI. They write the script. Then I go in and I switch out to, I think about which clips I want to put over each piece of dialogue. So then I go in and I switch that out in the action. And then I go in and I switch the dialogue because it's got to sound like me. It can't sound like ChatGPT, so it's got to sound like me. And like Dan, then I run it through Dan, and Dan will go through and he'll do a pass of like what he thinks, if he wants to add any new information like trivia or, stuff like that. And then, or change dialogue to certain things, and he puts in a lot of great pointers and stuff for me personally. And then I go through and finish up and then record. So I don't think that using AI, and then I said that all of that to just say whoever's using AI, especially as a podcaster, like please be rewriting the scripts you're getting from AI. It's one thing if like you're having an issue and you want to find some ideas and then take those ideas and then you stretch them and make them your own. But yeah, it is another if you're just having the script written by AI and then taking it and being like, here you go, sell it. I want money. Thank you.
I do like ChatGPT. I can't lie. Like I'll type in weird scenarios. Like I did Ace Ventura Has a Nightmare on Elm Street and had it write me a story. And I read the story about Ace Ventura fighting Freddy Krueger. And it was fantastic. I did one where Freddy Krueger is eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like that's what I want from my ChatGPT. So it's fun to laugh.
It is. And it's a good tool too, especially with podcasting. It helps me with summaries. It helps me with SEO work, things like that. And I don't think that's cheating. I think that's just using another tool that helps. Remember when we were kids and we would be doing our homework and we'd be like, all I want to do right now is invent something that will do homework for me. That's all I want. And now we have invented something that can do it. Thankfully, it keeps us honest because teachers are like on top of it and, running through things. But yeah, for me, it's like, like I still think you should be able to use the tool. If we're allowed to use a calculator, why can't we use like AI?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to do it when they're outside of school, so might as well find a way to use it within the school's rules and parameters and so forth.
God damn, just don't steal anything. Just don't be plagiarizing. That's the bullshit. That's where the bullshit all comes in. Let's go down and see who's in the good old chat. Ron's here. Snobbing like I'm hot. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Ron? I need to get with Jeff. I want to go back on Crossing the Streams. Maybe I got to get him on 3 Geeks first, but we'll figure it out because that's a fun show.
Jeff, I always have a good time on Crossing the Streams. Jeff's actually, he's going to be one of the guest co-hosts coming up soon. I'm excited to have him on the show. In Crossing the Streams is always good. You guys are always fun together too. Chris is here. He says, "What's up, Snob? It's been a while for me." Yes, we're so glad you're here, man. We miss you, buddy.
What's up, Chris?
Dan says, Jason.
Dan.
Jason of House Taylor. I love it. That is dope. Jason Sturdy's here. What's up, buddy? Michigan.
Dude, me and Dan are talking about meeting halfway and having lunch soon.
Oh, the Great Toledo War is going to be sparked again. He said he won one. Oh, Michigan. Oh, Michigan. Oh, I'm like, is that like a weird way to say Megan? I don't know. What do I know?
I might be able to this year, Chris. The reason I didn't go last year was finances, but I'm in a good spot right now. So,
well, knock on wood. Let's keep you that way. We'd love to have you down in CFF. It's our 5th year too, guys. So if you guys don't know what Carolina Fear Fest is, Raleigh, North Carolina, Memorial Day weekend, 2024. It's our 5th year. We're celebrating. We are gearing up. There's already some great guests lined up. There's already some great things going on. No, I'm not telling you anything until it gets there, but just be aware. It's a lot of fun. And actually, while we're here, if you don't mind me plugging, this Thursday at 7 p.m., Our Conversations is back. It's Carolina Fear Fest's official podcast presented by us, the Scene Snobs, where we are going to be talking about deadly animal movies. My co-host Destiny will be there. I think Master Shake's going to join in, and Stephanie herself. So it's going to be a good time. I'm excited. I'm all for it.
Sturdy and I are doing a special live Scary Snobs tomorrow at 8, which should be
it's going to be live. I didn't know you were going to be live.
We're going to do it live because we can't do it on Thursday because him and I are both watching Good Mythical Evening that night. So we got to clear up our schedules because we're Rhett and Link fans, but we'll be here tomorrow night to do a live show.
That's awesome, man. I'm excited for that. Godfather 3 is a decent movie. Damn it. I did see that portion of Three Geeks podcast. I know what you're talking about. I'm wavering. Decent?
I haven't seen it.
Stretch, dude. It's not a like I think a lot of people treat it like it's trash. You have to see it, Jay. You got to still see it. You've seen the first 2, you got to see the third one. It's just the end of the saga. And like there's good things about it, but the whole plot with the church and going clean, like come on, man. It was dumb. And then Sofia Coppola.
Should I watch the regular one or the Coda one?
I don't know. I haven't watched the Coda one. I kind of want to watch it though.
Okay. I've heard the Coda one's pretty good.
I want to see that one because I watched them in chronological order, which isn't the Coda one. Remember years ago they came out with it and like you could watch all 3 and it was just like the saga and you watched it all in chronological order. That was a trip, man. That was a hell of a time. That was a long trip. I'd actually kind of like to do that with Lord of the Rings. Oh wait, I missed Deadpool. Cliff Notes was everything to me in school. Cliff Notes is cool. Read the book. I would say watch the movie, but I would say read the book.
Now that I'm an adult, my dad told me like last week, he's like, I've never read a book in my life.
Really?
He's like, Cliff Notes. Cliff Notes is all I've read. He said, unless you consider that a book, then I love reading.
All right. Like if you're living your life and like books aren't something like prevalent, like movies, books, like I'm not going to report on comic books if I didn't read them.
Yeah.
If I'm not going to like read like the rundown or the summary or like a spoiler or something and be like, all right, I'm going to do a full review on this comic book, or a book in general. Although I don't generally do books on here. That's why I didn't say it, but it's definitely not a movie. Like I can't go not watching a movie. Like, what are you going to do? Just read
the back
and then just be like, let's do it. Like, have some integrity. Watch the fucking movie.
Second, let me read the synopsis and then I can review it with you.
Yeah, I know, right? There's a lot of people who do that shit and they're never gonna last. I gotta be there 224 VIP. Yeah, dude, I would love for you to be there, man. That'd be a lot of fun. All of us, that'd be great. You guys can come, you're Scary Snobs, you can come out to the table and do a show there or something. 2024. You just put a dash. I didn't know we were live either. Left my ass up, but I am in. That would be awesome. Hey, Radar, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Radar?
And then Dan says, just when I thought I was out, they put me back in. Yeah, damn right you're coming back to CFF. We miss you. And don't drive to Wilmington this time. We'll find other places for you to go.
Yeah,
we'll have more people there for you. He drove to Wilmington last time because he's a madman. He's my madman. I love him, but he's a madman. He was just like, yeah, I'm just going to take a drive. I have the convertible, and it's like 3 hours away. I'm like, damn, Dan. Your trip, man. I was like, I took a 5-hour trip here, and I don't want to leave for 4 days. Do that shit. 5 years of fear, baby. That's right. All right, we do have some topics I wanted to get to. You're a big hip-hop fan, as people will find out in your 5 questions review in a few weeks. That's right. We're going to have a new segment coming out on the podcast and clips on YouTube. So I was watching a movie the other day. And it had a hip-hop song and a very popular one before I mentioned which one it was. And when I did, I'm like, it makes sense because the hip hop artist is in the movie, but it doesn't make sense for the movie. But I was kind of glad. I do like the movie, and I was kind of glad that it was in there. And I find this happens a lot. We have a lot of really popular, epic hip hop music that like just showed up in movies that maybe you don't remember, but also made them even better. And what I'm talking about is a little song I like to call "Mama Said Knock You Out" from the 1989 film The Hard Way, starring Michael J. Fox and James Woods and LL Cool J. In his first movie. So I was watching that, and it popped up, and the song started playing afterwards. And it just got me thinking. I knew you were going to be on the show, so I thought it'd be fun to talk about hip hop a little bit and talk about hip hop's influence in movies.
Yeah, I'm down. 100% down. Fight the Power is a really good use of a song for a movie as well.
I would almost argue that that's probably the most poignant moment in movie history where a hip hop song is used. Just because of the power behind the song. Every time it showed up on screen, what it meant, who Radio Raheem was, how everything ended. And I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen the movie or anything. And it's pretty devastating, but beautiful movie. It's a wonderful movie. But that song, when Fight the Power came on and it blared, and it was louder than everything, and it took over everyone and everything in the scene. I think a lot of people seem to think like that's a young man with a boombox back in the day. That's how it was. They were just loud. But you're not getting what Spike Lee's saying here. This song always needs me. Like, it doesn't matter how calm things are. He comes in the most calm moments and brings tension because he's about fighting that power. And there's always, the power's always on top. And I just absolutely love the message that came along with this. So you brought it up. I'd love to hear your take on it, and maybe a few others you want to get into.
The song by itself is powerful. You add it to the movie and the context of the movie, and it becomes even more so than the song by itself. It elevates the song in a lot of ways, and the song returns the favor by elevating the movie. So they kind of really go hand in hand. But one of my favorite uses, and this isn't a comedy, is Tougher Than Leather by Run DMC and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. When the girls get out of the van and the song hits, like, it is one of the perfect, because they use the best part of that song, and it's one of the perfect way to introduce like a character, especially a van full of pretty ladies. And I really like that use of that song. Like, it hits.
It it's for that especially too, and like that thing I like about Kevin Smith too is like he's into it. He's into the culture of hip hop. So like when he uses those songs too, it's a meaning. Like he knows like that's the perfect song for this moment. And I don't think he's really widely famously known for that in his movies. Being songs like, if you think of Zach Braff movies, you think of music with it, or you think of Quentin Tarantino, it's the same way. And there's how many countless other directors can we say that about? But you don't think about it with Kevin Smith, but Kevin Smith is a weird eclectic taste in music in terms of his soundtracks.
Yeah.
But it works. It's that I don't even say Jersey. I want to say that 90s punk counterculturist indie type of scene that he was part of. And that was like, it was a gamut of music. It wasn't just the blaring heavy metal. It wasn't just, it was the hip hop. It was everything else. And everything he uses, down to Clerks 2, when you have the Jackson 5. Like, it doesn't seem like it would work, but it breaks out in the dance, and you're like, this kind of works. He makes it work in this. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And my first encounter of a hip hop song in a movie, I have to mention Ninja Rap from Ninja Turtles.
Don't you fucking do it. I saw the comment. Don't you fucking do it.
I didn't see the comment. I didn't see the comment.
Right. First of all, you spelt best wrong. Let's be honest here. Come on. We are two podcasters who love movies. Do I love listening to Ninja Rap? Yes. And it is almost always a joke when I listen to it. It is not a good song. It's a fun scene with Vanilla Ice singing a stupid song about the Ninja Turtles, and as Ninja Turtle fans, we're in. But I am not giving you the best rap song in a movie.
Best rap song. But I had to mention it because it was one of the first. No, one of the best, and I'd put this up there with the other one is "Gangsta's Paradise" by Coolio for Dangerous Minds. That's another one that is so synonymous with the film, and the film so synonymous with the song.
Yeah, if the film didn't just suck so bad.
I haven't seen it since I was young, but the song is definitely, what people remember from that film.
That's definitely 100%. That's a big song to come with it. And I would argue that the song's, way more popular than the movie, and I got to be honest, that song came out before that movie. That was that summer single before the movie had come out. To be completely honest, I think if that song didn't come out, that movie doesn't do anywhere near as well as it did. And I'm not saying it was like a super popular movie. I don't fully 100% remember. I mean, I know it came out around this time in like the 90s, like 94, 95, something like that. I don't think it, I think it blew up. I think it did really well. I think it was a hit, but nobody talks about that movie anymore. But you'll still hear Gangsta's Paradise out there.
Another one that had probably about as big of an impact. No, not as big, but the song still played everywhere. You can't mention best hip hop song in a movie and not mention "Lose Yourself" from 8 Mile, because that song is still huge.
I'd say if you were going to count any, if Fight the Power is the most poignant in a movie, the one that really stands out and is that meant something, and that really brought hip hop into the forefront in a big movie that was nominated, and saying we can make movies with hip hop in them and still be nominated for awards. I love the connotation that comes with all of that. But yeah, Lose Yourself has to be the GOAT, right? That has to be the one that's.
It perfectly summarizes what happens in the movie. It's an inspiring song. It's a song to get you pumped up. And Dadpool mentions "Colors" by Ice-T. That is a good song. Never seen the movie though, so I can't.
It's a good movie. It's a tough movie, but it is a good one. It's crazy, but that's a great song.
It is,
and it works because, again, I think that was the thing that I really liked about movies that incorporated early hip hop. The songs almost seemed like either they went out and they cherry picked what fit the scene, or they wrote the scene from that song and just used it if they could. Because there are so many back then that those songs just fit. Anything in Juice, Above the Rim, and granted, these are more urban films, which would show more side of what we would come to know as the ghetto, and hip hop music playing a big part of that, because that was part of the culture of the urban environment. That turns around and starts showing up in movies. It becomes the 80s and 90s really did, I think, peg it really well.
And I wouldn't put this as the GOAT, but for a good year of my life, Space Jam, the Space Jam song by Quad City DJs was everywhere.
That Space Jam,
dude, that soundtrack bumped. There's a song on there called "Hit 'Em High." I love that song so much. It's got Method Man, LL Cool J, Busta Rhymes, Coolio. Oh, yeah, but that song in particular.
They had some good ones for sure. There's some great albums you could go and pick up. What was it? Can I Get a from the Rush Hour soundtrack?
Yeah,
that was Jay-Z's first mega hit.
Yeah.
That one really pulled him right into I don't want to say obscurity. It wasn't obscurity. If you knew hip hop, you knew who Jay-Z was. He was up and coming at the time, and I think him and Jermaine Dupri, when he was producing, put out some really good stuff. But I think Can I Get a, I don't know if it was his first hit, but I think that was his first propel into what was it? School of Hard Knocks probably his first hit. Oh, Hard Knock Life.
Yeah.
That would be his first hit, but Can I Get It, I would say, is because that's the soundtrack sales, that's everything. So that's, you're going to catch a lot of people really interested in this aspect of it and such. So, Let's talk about a few more as we go on. Are there any newer movies today that you see maybe incorporating new hip hop that we should be paying attention to, or
Yes,
and or old hip hop that really works in new scenes?
trying to the Big Sean song. It was in Fight. What was the movie called? It's an Ice Cube and Charlie Day, where they're gonna fist fight in the middle of the song, the Big Sean song at the talent show. I love the use of that, when she's like cussing out the little girl in the front row, rapping the song to her. Is great. But that's one that comes to mind because I find that scene absolutely.
I haven't seen that. Yeah, I saw that a long time ago, but like it has been popping up over on TikTok quite a bit. So like it is funny that you mentioned that, and like that is a hell of a song. That is a hell of a song for sure. And that's a big. I didn't even know that was a Big Sean song, so it's funny you mention that. I appreciate you letting me know. Yeah, for me, new hip hop, like I'm learning more and more. You know, it's not that I've gotten out of hip hop. It's hard to keep up, man. It really is hard to keep up. Like everybody's Lil or just a noun of some sort. And I just don't fully get it all the time.
Plus, if you want to find the good stuff, you got to really look for it now. It's not like it was back in the day where there were so many different kinds of hip hop on the radio. Now it's like the radio stuff is pretty similar to the last radio song that was played. So you got to really look for the good stuff, but there's still good stuff out there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, times have passed. Things have gone different. And I will say that, you know, we've missed out on, you know, having a Will Smith song to one of his movies in a really long time. You know, I was looking to Men in Black 3 having their own music video, but whatever. Yeah, actually, that's a good one. Deadpool says Kendrick Lamar's Black Panther soundtrack is amazing.
Yes,
that's true. Kendrick Lamar, though, is amazing. And like it's funny because he's been around for so long. Like to me, like he's old now. So like 2023, when I say new, like people are like, well, how do you know him? Like been around for like 15, 20 years. He's been around a while.
I keep referring to Logic as new because he's new to me over the last few years, but everybody's like, he's not new. He's been around since like the mid 2000s. And I'm like, I didn't know. Like, he's new to me. I just discovered him not so long ago. So yeah, Kendrick's the same way. I don't think of Kendrick as being new.
Yeah. You know, I think that if we're gonna round this out, we're gonna do it right. Like, what do you think probably the biggest hip hop song used in a movie in the last, let's say, 23 years? Let's go from 2023 to 2023. You know, what's probably the biggest hip hop song used in a movie? Like it became big, whether it's from the movie or it was big before the movie or after on its own. But like it's like the biggest song, not counting Lose Yourself.
Oh, not counting Lose Yourself.
That was definitely getting taken out 100%.
Oh,
that's
damn.
I told you it's a go. It's number one. So that should never last, in my opinion.
Okay. I'm thinking.
Or not that it shouldn't last. That like it shouldn't be on the table. That makes sense.
That is a good question, man. I think Turn Down for What? No, that's not good though. I wouldn't. That is a good.
I wouldn't say for a movie though. Like it wasn't used in a whole lot of movies.
I don't know, man. I mean, if you're looking at like old songs that was recently reused and became popular again, it'd be the Straight Outta Compton soundtrack. But that is a great question.
I would say it's "See You Again" by Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. That's it. The Paul Walker tribute.
Let me ask you though: is that the song that it is with the popularity it has because of the tribute they made in the movie, or was it going to stand on its own whether Paul Walker had died or not?
I don't know if the song would have even been in the movie if Paul Walker hadn't died. So that's a good question. Yeah. But I agree with you that it's probably the biggest one we have now because I know a lot of people that listen to that song still.
Yeah. It's still, it will always hit, I think. Chris says, not a movie, but Ren is amazing.
He is amazing. I agree.
And Deadpool says, X going to give it to you from DMX Deadpool. I don't know that I'd say it's the best use, but it was awesome to hear X going to give it to you. in that movie. I thought it was another great song used at the right time. Personally, I think I loved it. So we're going to switch gears a little bit, guys. We're going to get into bizarre or weird toys based on movies. Wait. Okay, we have a conspiracy theory coming up in the comments here. We have George G3 saying, that's a great question. I think Walker is alive and never makes it. So you think that Walker is alive and that he's not going to make it? How dare you? No, I know what he meant. We wouldn't make it in the movie if Walker was alive. No, I agree. I'm not saying that it wouldn't have been popular, but it definitely wouldn't have been on the upper stratosphere that it ended up on without Walker. But all right, let's get into some toys, shall we? I know you're a big toy guy.
I do. I love toys. If I had the funds, like if I was rich and had a disposable income coming out of every orifice, I would be out of control with toys. I'm worse than a kid. Like my daughter rolls her eyes every time I go to the store because I have to go down the toy aisle. Because, some toys are cheaper now, but some toys are really good now.
They really are, right? Like the toys today are just a whole different world. And I'm loving them. Like, I think it's amazing. But there have been a lot that have shown up based on movies that are just weird, man. They're just bizarre. And the more I think about it, and like with how the world is going today and Barbie doing as well as it has based on a toy product, and now Warner Brothers seemingly, who is with Mattel now, and seemingly deciding, hey, the message we're taking from this movie doing really well and every woman feeling empowered is, let's make a lot of toy movies. And J.J. Abrams, of course, is making a Hot Wheels movie, and there's a few other being worked on. First, before we get into talking about toys, what do you think about this trend?
We knew it was coming. We knew it was inevitable. It's a Hollywood thing. They don't learn the right lessons.
No.
Like Barbie is doing really well. So what's going to happen? We're going to get Barbie sequels, whether or not they get Greta Gerwig back or not. We're going to get a ton of toy movies now. And I don't think we need a ton of toy movies. Think we need, like happened with Barbie. You wait till the creator has a story to tell within that world and then make the movie, but don't just shoehorn all these movies. Like, I know they were talking about a Monopoly movie a few years ago.
Yeah.
When Battleship came out, that tanked, so we didn't get it, thank God. But who knows?
Which I fixed and is on the YouTube channel, so go check it out.
Nice. And I set you up for that plug so you could hit it out the park. But
thanks, buddy.
Hot Wheels movie, isn't that just Fast and Furious? Like,
I don't know. I don't know what you're gonna go. I mean, J.J. Abrams of all people, like I like J.J. Abrams, and he's in his wheelhouse. Like people shit on Super 8, and I think Super 8 is fantastic. I think he is a young, well, he's not as young anymore, but like comparatively to Steven Spielberg, he's a young Steven Spielberg in this day and age that just makes fun adventure movies. That's what he likes doing. He's got his themes to it, and I think he made Super 8, and it was great.
I love Super 8. It's a great homage to the 80s. You take the Star Wars out of the Star Wars movies, and you look at them as like regular movies. They're fun. I think Rise of Skywalker was a fun Tomb Raider movie, but the problem is that they're not. But yeah, I don't know. JJ doing a Hot Wheels movie. I don't want a Hot Wheels movie. I have Fast and Furious. If I need to watch cars go boom, I'll watch Fast and Furious.
Yeah, and how ridiculous is it going to be? I mean, like, and I don't know why anybody would touch a Hot Wheels movie. Like, I mean, right now there's a Gran Turismo movie coming on, and I could care absolutely less. And I know it's based on a true story, and I'm not saying it's bad, but going to the theater to see it, I would, of course. And I'm not saying that you can't adapt video games or cartoons or whatever that center around cars into movies. You can. Michael Bay can't, but you can. There's plenty out there. And Hot Wheels may be one that's done it. But I really think that's going to go the way of Speed Racer. Gran Turismo is another one that it may do all right, but I just
I'm curious about GTA.
Mm.
I the Gran Turismo movie. I'm curious because the story is kind of fascinating, but I'm not in a rush to go see it in theaters by any stretch. I'll wait till it comes out on something. Once the people get paid for it, I'll watch it when it comes out on something. But yeah, Hot Wheels. I don't know. Need for Speed didn't do so well, so like.
There's going to be so many though. They're looking at making so many stupid things, like ridiculous amount of toy movies. Like Mattel is teamed up now and saying like, let's make everything. I think they want to make like Monster Dolls a thing, or Monster High or whatever it is a thing. They want to try and touch down on every toy line that will work. And this is my problem with what happens in Hollywood and where we go from here is we have so many people, so many big business. Like, how the fuck do you even exist? Like, Rock'em Sock'em Robots is going to get a movie. It already did. It's called Real Steel. It wasn't good, but it's better than what you're going to do with Rock'em Sock'em. Or go watch Robot Jocks. Just go watch Robot Jocks. It's from the 80s. It's fun. You'll like it. It's basically the same thing. But yeah, it just like, I'm not saying you can't have a movie based on toys, but when you're only making movies based on toys because Barbie did well and you don't understand why, I'm fucking furious, dude.
I don't have words. Like, yeah, I don't have words. This is why we need to get these writers paid and back into their jobs, because these ideas from the studios can just be awful. They could be awful. I'm trying to look up Mattel toys so I can see what other awful stuff we have coming our way. But
dude, it's fucking crazy, man. It really is. Like, it's just, to me, it gets to a point where like you guys, it's not that you're running out of ideas. I think that's like the popular misconception when it really comes down to it, is like a lot of people are like, well, it's, it's when it comes down to it, ultimately, it's like they're running out of ideas. We're not running out of ideas. We're being forced to make ideas so they can make money. If you don't want these things, you need to stop going to them. Now, I'm not saying the Barbie movie, because we all know the Barbie movie, for whatever reason, and I'm guessing good producing, was done right. And okay, let's get an Academy Award winning writer director and her. I'm not sure if their husband are just like together. I know they're together, but like, I'm not sure if they're married, but like, and Noah Baumbach, another Academy Award nominated director and writer, to write a movie for Barbie and make it something that has nothing really to do with the toys. And everyone's coming out feeling good, feeling great. And going, and you're crossing $1 billion with this movie. Is that not enough money? Or can you not just say, okay, writers, if you can write me a script where they're all get $1 billion, I'm talking about personal stuff that people want to come out and see, like this. It doesn't have to be about toys. Doesn't have to be. That's just write me a fucking script that gets people out there for $1 billion. Perhaps we can save Hollywood. I don't think it's going to happen. Sorry, that's my rant.
No, they'll learn, and we'll get 2 or 3 movies into this, and then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, this is not working. We gotta scale back and try something new." But
just hope we don't get another Barbie movie, another Ken movie, which we will. We're gonna have a whole franchise, because franchises are the fucking kings right now.
I like franchises, and if they wait until Greta Gerwig comes back and says, "Hey, I've got an idea for a sequel," I want to see that sequel. But if they go to Greta Gerwig and said, "We need you to crank out a sequel real quick so we can capitalize on it," I don't want to see that sequel. I don't want a Ken spinoff. I don't need the spinoffs of every single Barbie figure we've ever had. No. Barbie goes to the hood. I don't want to see it.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, listen. I'm with. I don't mind sequel. I don't mind franchises, but it is a franchise fatigue, and everyone's doing one now. And I know everyone wants one because they think that's what's going to get the money, but they're not utilizing it correctly. They're not writing good product, and it's even Marvel's not as good as it once was, and that was the standard for a long time in franchise. And it's like, you guys are oversaturated, you're overkilling it, you're destroying these characters, and you don't care. Because you just want to make a buck.
Lego's a good example of this because the Lego movie hit and it did a great job. And then I like the Lego movies, don't get me wrong, but then they rushed Lego Batman, they rushed Lego Ninjago, and Lego Movie 2 all came out within a year of the Lego movie, and audiences just did not want that much Lego all at once, and it stopped because I know they had plans to continue the Lego franchise beyond Lego Ninjago, but nobody showed up for Lego Ninjago, and I don't believe a lot of people showed up for Lego Movie 2 just because they were tired of Lego at that point because we had so much Lego in a short amount of time, which is a shame because the Lego movies are fun.
The Lego movies are, I agree with you. They are fun. They're good, and like it did well. I mean, I think it doubled its the second movie. I mean, it's not the first one, but I think it like doubled its budget. But you're right, like it's not. And I'm talking about like I don't even know if that's overall or worldwide or domestic or whatnot. But like for me, it's. Yeah, you did too much. Like I get it. Like the Lego Batman movie is good. I'm gonna say if Lego's like the pinnacle, but again, that's another movie where the whole thing had a lot of heart to it. There was a story there. It wasn't about the Legos ultimately. It was about the story between father and son, not connecting and using toys as a way to do it. That's what the Barbie movie's doing. You know, and I think in a more poignant way, that's what the Barbie movie is doing. And the thing I think that really resonates with all of us, like when we watch the Lego movie, and I think a lot of people are watching Barbie, is that it turns around and it says to us, like, you know, your childhood may have been this, your childhood may have been that, whatever it was, we're all different, but like you grew up and, you know, we care about you. We care about, you know, we were the toys you played with. So when you crank them out and you do all this stupid shit, we don't think you give a shit about us.
I will say the Spider-Man movies are the exception to the rule, where they've been able to have the live-action Spider-Man and the animated Spider-Man, everybody's still gobbling it up. But other than that, like I don't think that, and you're right, Marvel's quality has gone down a little bit, which is why I think they're doing some course corrections, delaying stuff, canceling stuff to slow the output. But guys, like, yeah, no, I don't want Mattel toys as movies. Like, let's slow down. Bike, the movie.
I know.
Electric car, the movie. Scooter, the movie.
Dude, I gotta tell you, like, you know, it's too much. Like, and don't you look back at history and say, like, oh yeah, those don't work. They just don't work. Like maybe sometimes they do. And then take the ones that do, the very rare few that do, and dissect them and say, what works about this? Oh, that's right. There's heart to it. That second movie didn't have shit. Nobody cared. That second Lego movie. You know, even like the Batman Lego movie was good, but it didn't have the heart the first Lego movie did.
No, I mean, the Lego Bat movie came out in the middle of a bunch of Batman movies. You know what I mean? So not only do you have the Lego thing going for you, but you have a lot of Batman movies going for you. And Lego Movie 2 is fun. It's still a Lord and Miller movie. It's just nobody cared by the time the movie came out.
That's true. It's sad, but true. All right, we're going to switch gears up a little bit. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments about everything. George C3 says, I agree. Twisted Metal and Gran Turismo are upcoming. How will the video game sales go? Twisted Metal was good.
I heard Twisted Metal is good.
You'll really like it, dude. Twisted Metal is a good show because it's a show. Because they had to put story in there, and I think they did put a really good story in there. While paying homage to characters that we love in terms of the vehicles, things like that. But also adding new characters we really enjoy. Anthony Mackie kills it, does a great job. Nev Campbell. Everybody does a great job. So Stephanie Beatrice.
I hope they learn the right lessons from The Last of Us and Mario. The Last of Us and Mario didn't change anything. They gave you the story that's in the source material. They just adapted the source material like they would a book. And whether it was cheesy like in Mario, it worked. And, you know, they added some things in Last of Us, but it really paid homage to the original source material. That's what they need to do. Follow the source material.
It's been, I don't know, 25 years since Twisted Metal came out. And, more, 30 years or so. But when I was playing Twisted Metal on PlayStation, I don't remember the story. I just remember just playing. So the story here, though, giving everybody like Sweet Tooth and everybody a background and explaining this world, I think did a great job because whereas The Last of Us, and Walking Dead do that in a very dismal way. This one did it in a fun, upbeat sort of way with a lot of like gore and crazy violence and stuff, but it just did it in a way where it's just like, all right, I don't feel like I'm drained at the end of each episode. Like I watched it all the way through, and then by the end of it, I wasn't like, yeah, you know what? I'm just like, I can't ever watch this again. I'm too drained, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So they did a good job. I really liked it. I think you'll really like it too.
I can't wait.
Great soundtrack because nothing is past 2002.
Nice.
Because the world ended in 2002, so it's all CDs. Ouija wasn't bad. I did see it. I liked it. It's a good movie. Ouija was the precipice. It's the MacGuffin, but I would not say it's the force. Like, whereas you get other toy movies or video or board game or video game movies where it's like that's the focus. I
watched Ouija's with my stepdaughter recently. And,
I would think
she's really into horror. She liked them. I've already seen them before, but her mom wants to watch some PG-13 movies, so I've been getting creative with the horror. But yeah, Ouija was fun. I like the first one better than the second one, I think. But they were both fun. I want to see a Ouija shark, which I guess is out at Walmart somewhere.
I love it. I can't wait. I have an FF car that crashes and throws the driver with a Paul Walker figure branded from the movie It Happened During. Ooh, that's how.
Yeah, that is messed up. Talk about
a messed up toy. You ran both gamuts on this one. You talked about both topics tonight in one foul swoop. How did that happen? Who okayed it? I don't know. It probably had to have been okayed before that happened, and then it just got out there. So that's nuts, though. That is crazy. We're gonna get into our first topic tonight, and actually, before we do, how about a word from our sponsor? If you like toys, why not talk about it?
What's up, movie snobs? Are you ready to take your love of pop culture to the next level? Look no further than Entertainment Earth, your one-stop destination for all things entertainment. From rare collectibles to the latest must-have items, they've got it all. Whether you are a fan of superheroes or a sci-fi lover or a classic movie enthusiast, Entertainment Earth has the perfect treasure waiting for you. But it gets better. By clicking the affiliate link down in the description below, you'll get an exclusive discount just for you being our amazing viewer, and we thank you guys. Get 10% off if you click on the link below, and if you spend $79 or more, you get another 10% off and free shipping. Check it out. Take advantage of this because it is truly awesome.
Guys, thank you so much. So if you guys are fans and you're collectors, go check out Entertainment Earth. They have some great stuff. I get my stuff from there. I absolutely love it and enjoy it. So check it out. Let us know. Use our link down below in the description. We appreciate you. Before we run through to our next segment, just some quick announcements I want to throw by you guys. We have 2 episodes of Discovering Horror out now. Our first episode, Exorcist, which went over pretty well and people really liked. And now our next episode of Halloween is out. And next week, we will have our 3rd episode. This is going to be a 12 episode season 1. And then we'll have season 2 come out in 2024 around the time Carolina Fear Fest is coming out. So, go check them out. Remember, Horror Conversations this Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Check it out. We're going to be talking deadly animal movies. That's brought to you by Carolina Fear Fest, presented by the Scene Snobs. And then Friday night, we are going back to Mick at Night. We're going to have a bunch of us. Hopefully, we can get Jason on too. And we're going to be talking. We're going to have some fun. That's all where we just geek out. We talk about all the stuff that we love. It is just hours of fun conversation. So make sure you jump in and be a part of it. But you ready to get into some controversy, my friend?
Let's do it.
All right. Let me explain the problem with Snow White. There's been some turmoil lately. Big turmoil in the world of Snow White, my friend. And I got to tell you, it does not seem to be going well for Disney, especially. So there's a lot of issues that happen with Snow White, the new movie that's coming out right now. Let's talk about it. I'm going to explain it to you guys a little bit. I'm going to explain it to you guys a little bit. But let's get into it. So right now, Rachel Ziegler, you might remember her from the new West Side Story with Steven Spielberg that came out a couple of years ago, and a couple other things. I think she was most recently in Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods. Mm-hmm. And she was cast in Snow White with Gal Gadot playing the evil queen. And then you have it's no longer the 7 dwarves anymore. It's the 7 people, I guess. I don't even know what they are. Like there's not even like a It was just like 7 random people walking in a line. Like
that is another controversy for the movie. Is like Peter Dinklage is like, why not cast us in this movie? Like we're here. This is a perfect role for the little people to be in, and now you guys are not going to include us. Like,
oh no, fuck Peter Dinklage on that one if he's saying that now, because if you remember a year ago, that man came out talking about, because they had just talked about the what do you call it, the what's his name, the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and they said that they had cast Rachel Ziegler as Snow White, and that was catching some backlash about her race because Snow White is supposed to be white or whatever stupid shit. It's the same shit that happened with Little Mermaid.
Yeah, if the person can play the role, they can sing, and the race isn't important. Like, who cares? I don't care.
Seriously, dude. Seriously, it's kind of a point where it's like you're just literally arguing to argue. Like you want to fight this just so we listen. We have to listen to you. You know, it's like the person who grabs the mega horn from somebody or the bullhorn or somebody and is like, all right, I'm going to talk now. And it's like, but like, it's the end and everybody's like, no, I'm good. Like, you know, it's just like that person. It's like, let it go. We're good. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say. Just go home.
It might have been Peter Dinklage. I read the article really fast. But I know
that's fair. But no, Peter Dinklage did come out and he caused a controversy about a year ago after she was catching controversy of her own after being cast and it's still coming up to this day because, and I'm quoting here, because she's not white, and I guess some racists want Snow White to be white. I here's the thing that bugs me. I love the original Snow White movie. I saw that in theaters in I think it was 84, 85. I absolutely love that movie. I think it's a fantastic movie. I think it's a lot of fun. It's great animation. The story behind it's great. It helped kick off animation as we knew it in movies and TV and pushing forward. So it's hard to hate that movie. It's also a fairy tale, and it's not a bad fairy tale. It's a pretty good story. And the way they told it, and there's really nothing controversial about this. And the way they're playing it off, and I'm talking both sides, it is so childish and ridiculous. I mean, the fact that grown men because it really is grown men, or it's basically women that look like men, are complaining quite a bit. That's right, I said it, and I'll say it again. Drink your Miller Lights, be mad at Bud Lights, and be mad at Snow White, and just shut the fuck up. So if you're mad because Snow White is played by a woman who is not Caucasian, you're an asshole. So that's out of the way. Now let's get to the rest of this controversy, and where Peter Dinklage comes out and says that, literally, no offense to anything, but I sort of was taken aback. We're very proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White, but you're telling the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And this is on the Mark Maron What the Fuck podcast. And he goes, have I done nothing to advance the cause from my soapbox? I guess I'm not loud enough. And I get what he was saying. Saying in a sense, it was like, do we really need to have these parts? Like, do we really need to be casting for dwarves? Like, does this have to be this state? Like, why does it have to be Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? And I get what he was saying, and I don't think it should be held against him because he was on a podcast and he was talking freely with another celebrity hosting, and it was a topic that came up, and in that moment he had a thought. So a lot of people are crapping on him because he said something a year or so ago. And the same people who bitch and moan about, like, well, don't cancel me because something I did years ago. No, I wouldn't want you to do that. Now, would I? So stuff like that. And I know I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry, but it is let me explain, Jason. So I'm explaining the Snow White controversy too. No, but so a lot of people came out. So when you did finally see the 7 not dwarves in it, it was like an eclectic group of people. It raised some eyebrows, pissed some people off, because now it's like, well, you're changing too much. You're changing my Snow White too much. People who never cared about the cartoon until just now, just putting it on for their kids or something, like so they can go smoke weed or something. But for the most part, like they were getting upset about it. And then of course Rachel Ziegler comes out. And she has to put in her 2 cents. And I get it. You got a lot of people coming at you, especially racists, coming at you about, being a Latina actress, which she's half Polish and she's half Colombian. So I don't really know just everybody just fucking nitpicks. But they're calling them like this, like the 7 companions or the 7 sidekicks or something like that now. So just to show like it's a different type of movie. And she came out, she had said, this isn't 1937. Women don't need creepy men to come stalking them and try and save them. And this is women, she's the one that's going to kick your ass. And I get it. And I love movies like that. I love Frozen, where you don't need a love interest. I love Tangled, where, Flynn's a love interest, but she's completely capable of taking care of herself. And he softens, and she, is. I can go on about that movie all day long, but like we're seeing, Tiana from The Princess and the Frog, another capable woman who steps out and doesn't need a man, but falls in love, by connection, and there's a connection through it. It's a great love story. So to see this and to see something like that being said, and a artwork like the Snow White and 7 Dwarfs, which she couldn't be more wrong, because literally he's not a creepy prince. He's not even on screen long enough to be called creepy. There's not enough character development about the prince in the original movie to be called creepy. And if anything, the dwarves are the creepy ones in that movie. And next up, he only kisses her because he is told specifically, true love's kiss, your kiss will wake her up. He doesn't want to do it because he thinks she's dead. When he's told that, he goes and kisses her and she wakes up. And yet still, it's called creepy. It's called this. It's called that. Like, there's no forgiveness. There's tearing apart an artwork from back in the day to propel yourself. Like, to me, 86. Like, I don't need you in Hollywood if that's who you're going to be. I know you're young and stupid, but like, maybe you need to come up a little bit more. Maybe you don't deserve to be the lead in this stuff if this is how it's going to be treated. I just don't believe in tearing down artwork to build yours up.
And as better artwork, you can go tear down. Go discuss Song of the South. Why people leave Snow White alone.
Why can't we just tear down the fucking terrible Snow White movie with Kristen Stewart? and also, it's not 1937 anymore. But yeah, they already remade Snow White a few times with more with female Snow White characters who were more badass and more, portrayed as more badass, and not, someone who ultimately becomes the damsel in distress. So you're not even original. Take your live action Dumbo and go to hell, Bob Iger, with your bullshit. You can bring Rachel Ziegler with you.
I love the live action Dumbo.
I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was as good. I like that one. That's one of my favorites, though.
I watch it from a different angle, I think, because I see it as a movie where Tim Burton is literally just making fun of Disney through the entire thing, because it's about a corporation absorbing the small circuses. So it's like Tim Burton made a movie about Disney by Disney, and on that level, I really enjoy the irony.
Fair. Very fair. All right. Well, for you, and hearing all this controversy, and you've been reading up on it, and what is something like you take away from it that, like, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about hearing about this and like where it went?
People don't know where to complain. Like with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, everybody's mad that they're not dwarfs playing the Oompa Loompas. It's like, where do you guys want when is it okay and when is it not okay? One. And then two, actresses just need to stop talking, or actors too. Just because she's made other comments, like Shazam 2, she said she only took for the paycheck. It's like, don't be biting the hands that feed you with these studios. You're not Jenna Ortega, who also shouldn't be making the comments she makes, but you're not her. Like, she has some clout to stand on still, even though she's made some stupid comments. Right? Your career is going to be thin if you keep doing stuff like this. Let the movie come out. Let the movie speak for itself and promote it when it comes out, and let us go see it. Because I know a lot of people shut up when they saw The Little Mermaid. I've heard nothing but rave reviews about her performance as Ariel. So just let the movie speak for itself.
Yeah, I saw that movie, and I don't know. I kind of disagree with you.
Did you like her, though?
She was fine. Like, again, it wasn't a matter of race or look or anything like that. And she had a beautiful voice. So, like, but remember, half the movie she doesn't have a voice. So it's like,
okay,
it's
fair.
like, I want to hear this thing. And like, but all right, I'm going to be completely honest though. I'm not a huge fan of the original Little Mermaid. So watching this one, it wasn't like I was tied to like this nostalgic feeling of like, oh, it's Little Mermaid. And like, either I hate it because I love the original or I'm into it because it's an homage to the original. None of it really resonated with me because like the original just wasn't like one that I really enjoyed. Not that I disliked that. It's a great movie, great music and whatnot, but it was kind of like whatever. Like when all that controversy came about. Now, I never heard Haley Bailey, I think her name is, who starred in that movie. I never heard her come out and say anything of the sorts in terms of, well, that original movie was made in the 90s and it wasn't very pro women, or like talking about it, like making some statement. I heard her come out and talk about the movie and how excited she is to play it. And like, and I heard when questions were asked, this cast was like, dude, who cares? Like he's a crab or he's a fish or she's a mermaid. Like who gives a shit? Like, and I think that's the perfect way to handle that. That's the way to stamp it out. But the movie's got to be good too. I just didn't think it was that great, but that's just me. But the performances were pretty good. I really like them.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Don't come out and diss a Disney movie while you're about to make a Disney movie. Like, I am all for taking the CEOs down a notch, but you also need to think about where you're working. Like, I'm not going to insult this previous film that millions of people love for no reason. Like, just make your movie and let it speak for itself. Talk about how you're a fan.
And Radar, I agree with you. They are magical creatures. You're right for the most part. Like it's all a magical world, so it really doesn't matter. But and what you say here, he said, and Peter Dinklage saying it was backwards to cast little people. And I don't know that I see you're just quoting him. Like I'm not saying this to you, but I don't know that I agree with that. No, I'm not a little person. I can't speak on it, and like I can't speak to the struggles that he's been through and such. But like I do know people who identify physically that's who they are, and they have said to me like, jobs are jobs. Like we like the jobs because there's not an overabundance, and now if we're going to point fingers and say, well, this movie shouldn't have little people in it, or I'm trying to find the right term, so dwarves or little people I'm going to use, so dwarves in the movie, should we go back and I'm not agreeing with this, and it's not real questioning for anybody listening, but should we go back and look at Willow? Should we go back and look at Wizard of Oz? Should we go back and look at all these movies, and if they get remade, say, no, we can't have the Munchkin. What the fuck do you do with the Munchkins? Where do you go with that?
Yeah, no, it's silly because it was Wee Man from Jackass that came out and said, look, I know a lot of out of work little people actors that could really use these roles. Like, why are we? It was him that was upset about it. And Radar says it in the comments that a lot of little actors are very upset about not having the chance to be cast in these roles. And I agree. Like, they deserve to work too. And I get it. Peter Dinklage was in X-Men Days of Future Past, and he played a character that nobody referenced as little. And that is great. It's fantastic. But, some of these roles are there, and some people want to have them.
Yeah. And congratulations to you. But, because I think there's so many people that that suffer that, like where there's a typecasting and there's things that happening. And he broke past that, and I think Game of Thrones is a big push on that, where we see this man, we don't see his height. His height means nothing to us. His performance is what stands out. And yeah, I'm not saying that we should see people for only their physical attributes, but we also have to remember that we do see physical attributes. So it does come into play when casting things like that. Now, I'm not saying that's right, wrong, or whatever. This isn't a fight for how this, what the moral, magnitude of it all is. But for me, it's if it's a job that has a chance to hire little people or dwarves actors, what are you doing? Like, shut the fuck up. Like, you know, I'm 6'8". If there was a role out there and they were like 6'8" or more, and like I show up and there's like 700 people there, like, what the fuck, man? Why do you need all that height? Why are we dealing with this? Now, I grant that that's a very out there and an exaggerated way to put it, but I'd still be pissed. Like, there's still going to be a piss. Like, that's a job that I could be doing in a career field that I want to get into that you're succeeding in, and now telling people not to hire me. Comes back, hits you in the head, hits you in the face pretty hard. So Chris Harris says it's a kid's story. Make her fucking green. I don't care. The color doesn't matter, but she does need to shut up a bit. It's like, you can't just keep talking. And that's not a woman needs to shut up. That's not a man needs to shut up. That's not, has nothing to do with gender, none, this, that, or the other thing. But like, you were cast in a movie. You were cast in a huge movie. And this is really only your third or fourth movie. Your first movie was a Steven Spielberg movie. I don't know her whole story, but is there struggle there? Like, can we talk about this? Like, because that's like an overnight sensation, in my opinion. And I remember everybody bitching that she wasn't invited to the Academy Awards, even though she's not in the Academy, because her first fucking movie was Steven Spielberg movie like 3 or 4 years ago. So I'm not saying you can't have opinions. I'm not saying you can't say what you're saying, but you're speaking out of your ass. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you're not saying things that are really resonating or hitting home or driving points home or making like really any impact at all.
Holy shit, man. Like, she made West Side Story. She made Shazam. She's got Hunger Games coming out very soon. Snow White, Paddington 3. Like, she has got a great lineup. Like, just make your movies, because you, and no offense, I don't know what you've done, but you've had a lucky start in Hollywood. Like, that is a crazy run. That's all studio films. Nothing independent.
All studio films. And it's all from like the start. Really, it's all from the start. Right. Like, that's what's. And again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have opinions. I'm not even saying you can't have opinions and come out and say it classily. Talk to Gal Gadot or talk to your PR and just be like, how should I put this? Just be like, just honestly in this situation, say, I'm incredibly humbled to be playing Snow White, such an iconic character. And honestly, we're going to change things up because 2023 is a lot different than 1937. And the movie, although fantastic, we don't want to tell the same thing over again. We want to do something a little bit different. I think Snow White's going to be a little more powerful, Snow White's going to be a little more powerful, a little more badass, and I'm looking forward to playing that role. And the Prince is going to be a little bit different too. And he's going to, you're going to see a different dynamic. And I think that's great character development. Boom, right there. You wouldn't have pissed anybody fucking off and everybody would have been right there. Should be a PR rep.
He should be.
I'm gonna go by the name Steve
Combiner.
Pointer. Steve Pointer. And I'm gonna be a
good job. And that's a great name.
Gives a shit. Nobody listens to the show. Except for good people. Except for good people. I'm saying that now. Not monsters who threaten my family. And children of all things. Can we fight those assholes? Can we stop fighting Rachel Ziegler? Anyway, I went off a little craziness. That's let me explain it to you. Hopefully you had a good time. This is the second time I'm doing it. First time I'm doing it with somebody. This is a lot of fun. I'm glad we got to talk about it a bit. I know I overtalked a little bit, but I want to say thank you so much for joining in tonight, Jason.
I love it, man. I'm here every time. I love that you gave me Sturdy. Like, you introduced Sturdy and I didn't know honestly how it was going to work out. We did the review of Waterworld. That went okay. And then the show, man, we really like connect. So I have really dug working with Sturdy.
Listen, there's one thing I know I'm good at. And I'm not saying that bragging or boasting. I'm saying that because I know that was like the thing, especially in filmmaking. Like, I was good. I knew when somebody was good at something specific or people were good working together. And when I saw you and Sturdy on a show together, I was like, that's gold. These guys are going to work well together. So I'm glad you guys get to do Scary Snobs, which I appreciate. I'm glad you get to do your shows, which is 3 Geeks Podcast and Matt Talk. And I'm, I appreciate you being my friend, man. We've been friends for like 4 years now. And, it's always fun to hang out with you and talk. Hopefully you sign up for more so that way you can be a guest co-host again. I'd love to have you back on. But yeah, you're the man. Thank you so much for joining in. And I just always appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it too. And my dad was like, "Can you get some friends to help move?" I'm like, "All my friends live out of state now. Like, all my friends are online now for the most part." So, yeah, no, I appreciate our friendship too, man. It's been a great couple of years for sure.
But I'm gonna let you go, and then we're gonna get on to our last segment, and I'm gonna say goodnight, and I'm gonna reveal the winner of Mixed Movie Picks the year. So let's get into it. Thank you, Jason, and I will talk to you probably fairly soon. Take care, buddy.
Bye, guys.
All right, guys. So Mixed Movie Picks this year. So here's how it works. If you don't know, Mixed Movie Picks it's a show where I like to, give you some movies to watch, some recommendations, if you will. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I have a good time doing it. So basically how this works is I give you 4 distinct years. Then you go on our social media all throughout the week. They'll be up tomorrow. And then you can vote on what year that you'd like to see win. Then next week on our show, I will reveal a movie recommendation from the winning year. So last week we picked 4 years, and that was 1992, 1943, 1967, and 2013. That is right. And our winning number was 1992. That is correct. 1992. It's a good year. I will say that. It was a very good year. I always appreciate it. I always love it. I love seeing it. There's a lot of good movies as I really thought about it. And, as I got into it, I was just super excited to figure out exactly what I want to tell you guys to watch. So for me, 1992 was a year that had Reservoir Dogs and had some really big movies. Reservoir Dogs, Batman Returns, Army of Darkness, Dracula, Candyman came out, El Mariachi was one. There was countless movies that we as film fans and cinephiles truly adored. Now, I don't want to always go with those. I want to try and pick some more cult classics, have some recommendations that kind of stick out, something a little bit different. And we are going to be getting a horror, so I think I'm going to stick more towards something else this time around. And one movie that I really want to recommend for you guys from 1992 is it's a cop movie, and it's a comedy starring Christian Slater. It's called Cuffs. If you've never seen Cuffs, I suggest you check it out. It's a very funny movie. He does a fantastic job in it. I absolutely love this movie. It's such a good time. And yeah, it's Cuffs. Go check it out. It's great. That's my mixed movie pick from 1992 this week. I'd really love to see what you guys think. My four for this week, and here, let me put on the other thing so I don't confuse you with the old numbers, is going to be 1947. Then we're going to do 1962. I had all these written down, but I didn't put them up as a thing, so bear with me. 1962, 1991, and then we are going to go with what I love, and that is 2003. So that is what we're getting into. So those are your choices. They will be up on our social media. I appreciate you guys. You can vote on any which one now. You can tell me in the comments. You can head over to our Discord. You can head over to our Facebook group, the Snob Nation groups. They're amazing. We'd love to have you a part of them. Talk about them there. Talk about some movies from there. Go check out Cuffs. Thank you. Make sure to vote this week, so next week we know what movie we're going to check out. I'm Mick Manhattan. I really appreciate you guys watching. The Scene Snobs Podcast is our baby. It's my flagship show on here, and we have other tons of great shows too. So please make sure, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening to this, please hit the follow, hit the like. Also rate and review us. That helps us go a long way. I know it takes some time. I know it can drive you crazy, but please do it. It really does mean a lot. It's free to help us out, and you guys are awesome for doing it. So thank you guys so much. Until next time, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you know when all the new shows and more are coming out. Just so you guys know, we have new merch dropping. It is on the store now, but we will be doing it. This is for our Snobtober line. and that is our Horror Snob shirt. It's our brand new horror shirt. Guys, it is in time for a lot. And if you are watching Discovering Horror, use promo code SNOBS for 10% off your order at snobsmerch.com. That's right. So thank you guys again for joining in. I'm Mick Manhattan from the Scene Snobs. Make sure to be kind, stay groovy, and take care of each other. I love you all. And let's just say have a good night. Bye, everybody.